I know. I didn't make James a fancy dinner, but I'm kind of tired.
That one was my idea.
We just got back from the dealership, the mechanic. We were trying to see what was wrong with the vehicle, and we want to try to leave for a trip, and we'll see how it goes.
Well, I'm going to say it's a GMC dealership. We bought the car. It's a Dodge thing.
Yeah.
And Pauline was saying on the way back, let's deal with the GMC mechanic.
Yeah, we like them more.
Yeah, way more.
So I don't know.
So I'm just going to mention a name over in. There's a wonderful woman called Chelsea who
Very
we were
nice
dealing
lady.
with. So
Yeah.
I'm nominating her, at least unofficially, for Employee of the Month. Because how often will you be saying, let's go and have our mechanical difficulties taken care of at any place, much less one that doesn't specialize in the kind of vehicle that you've got. I think it'd be highly unusual. So there you go.
So you want to review a specific poem in this?
Well, we'll look at, I started reviewing this. There's 50 poets or
Yeah, we're going to have to
poems.
borrow it from the library again because James wants to go through each individual poem.
So you
So-
have two of these wonderful Hilroy things. Doing advertising with Hilroy. 'Cause they were going concern when I was a kid, not just
Yeah.
when Pauline was a kid.
And that's
It's
what I
not
rate.
producing
That's what I rate my poetry in. It's very affordable, especially maybe about 2 weeks before this point in the year. You know, mid-September, they go on sale
Yeah, there
for
we go.
almost nothing, and you just stock up with lots of them.
But the only thing that's changed is they've changed the boundary up here, like the Nunavut, which didn't exist when I was a kid. And Alberta's still part of Canada, separatists, and Quebec too. They haven't managed to take those provinces out of.
So you wanted to start with Carrie
Let's start with
Fountain?
Carrie Fountain.
Fountain?
She's a poet laureate of Texas. You know, I think. It was Robert Browning who wrote something about William Wordsworth. It was about the only named poet laureate of England. You've heard of William Wordsworth, but if I started mentioning other poet laureates of England, you'd be going, what, where, who, what, where, how? You know, fact is, I only know of one other one, and he's kind of like. I'm kind of glitching on his name. He's a contemporary of Gerard Manley Hopkins, and he tried writing English poetry in syllabic verse, and syllabic verse just doesn't work in English. Was it syllabic? Yeah, I believe it was syllabic.
So the poem here, the title is "You Belong to the World."
Yeah.
And I mean, it's poetry in the natural world, so it does have world in the title of the poem.
So they don't really make it specific, like specify what they mean by that. But I think they're reversing the world belongs to you. You get that feeling? Yes, no? Am I reading too much into it?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. I might be reading too much into it. Pauline might be right. I'm giving them credit for more profundity that exists there. But maybe you remember reading that one. Did it strike you as being more philosophy than poetry?
Well,
There's not much
I don't
imagery
know. I mean,
there.
the message in this one it's all right. There's I don't think this is a bad poem to start off with in the book.
It's no worse than any of the others.
But I would say it's
much
not a
better.
poem.
No, it's philosophy.
It's
There's very little imagery, and of course, it's not a poem because there's no guiding principle based on sound. You know, I don't care what the principle is. I don't care if you write everything in heroic couplets in English, iambic pentameter, rhymed A, B, 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 on and on till infinity. I don't care. Just get some sort of thing where you're organizing things on the basis of sound. If you don't do that, you're writing prose. And that's okay. If you're writing prose, understand, I'm going to judge you. If you're writing a wee little thing like that, that's a page long, how many lines was it? And of course the lines are not full. 32 lines. 32 lines. So, like I'm judging you against 32, equivalent of 32 lines in James Joyce, Ulysses. You'd better be giving me something as intense as that, or else I'm just going to,
Yes, 32.
Yeah, I counted. Well, see, like, what was I doing? I was trying to find an organizing principle, you see?
Yes,
so,
I know.
how many syllables? 10, 11, 11. Oh, already we were suspecting, unless I miscounted, that it's not syllabic. 10, or down to 10, 12, 12, 10, 11, 12, 11, 11. I thought, okay, they're going from 10 to 12, which really isn't much of a guiding principle. 10, oh, we're up to 13. So much for that. 10, 12, 11, 4, oh, we're up to 14. 10, 11, 12, 9. We're down to 9, so we're already 9 to 14, which is more than 50%. 14 is more than 50% higher than 9. 12, 11, 12, 9. Oh, we're down 9 again. 10, 13, 12, 12, 9, 5. So it's all the way from 9 to 14. So it's not that bad. Then I actually bothered to count the accents in case it was accentual. 4, 5. Well, maybe, or 3, I should say. Then 4. Maybe I miscounted 5. Maybe I miscounted 5. 4, 6. Oh, I don't think I miscounted there. Look at line 10. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Differently, your body will become food again. Differently, your body will become again. So that's 12 syllables, but differently. You got no choice. It's got to be 2 accents there. Differently, your body, because there's a weak accent after E. Differently, your body will become food again. You got no choice because will is weak. Will become food again. It's 6 accents. So it's not accentual. Are we agreed?
Yeah, it's not accentual, for sure.
Let's look at the second one. It's strange even now to understand that you see it's only 3 accents.
Yep.
There's no organizing
this
principle.
person does use some poetic devices,
like
repetition.
Okay, so you belong to the world. It's like a chorus line.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And then again, you belong to the world, animal.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, at the end, you belong to the world.
Although, why cut it like you belong to the world? I don't know. It doesn't even make sense where she's cutting the lines. Because, okay, you belong to the world, as do your children, as does your husband. Okay, that line cut makes sense. It's strange even now to understand that you are a mother. The change, there is a little bit of a hesitation after understand. And then there's that, which carries over to understand that you are a mother and a wife.
It is frustrating when people are not writing poetry, they're writing prose, but they're wanting to make it look like they're writing poetry, so they chop up the lines in places. It doesn't even make any sense why they're chopping it up like that. If you're going to do that,
do it syllabically and just divide it up, let's say 11 syllables per line. It won't make any difference. People in English do not hear syllables. You might be able to do a 2-syllable or 3-syllable line, maybe 4 syllable lines all the way down and stuff like that. Maybe, probably not. People don't hear syllables. They hear accents. You hear me? Accent. They hear accents. Ridiculous. They might hear syllables if you go, stop that now, dork. Oh, that's 4 syllables. So that's what I'm saying to Carrie Fountain. Stop that now, dork. So the poet laureate of Texas, I was going to say, Robert Browning wrote this poem about William Wordsworth just for a ribbon of, was it gold? He left us or something like that. So, or deserted us or something like that. So he was saying, Wordsworth, you used to be a Democrat, a left-winger, probably a real left-winger, and now you've become one of the king's functionaries. It might have been Queen's functionaries by that point in time, Queen Victoria. You've deserted us. The designation Poet Laureate is a right-wing designation. It's basically, oh, the powers that be are giving you a distinction based on Lord only knows what, probably on your politics, or if nothing else, your aesthetics. In this case, it's probably aesthetics as much as politics, but there is a heavy emphasis on so-called adversity amongst these people. So, and here I'm using these people,
book, yeah.
and it is I'm talking about not people of color, people of gender, I'm talking about political animals. Right? So these guys are very politicized. They are rewarding their own using, I believe it's public funds. This is the United States. But if it's not used for the publishing, see, where is this person? She won a National Poetry Series Award. She's third generation Scottish. Looks to be based on the poem. Heterosexual, but she's a feminine. She's presumably a feminist. She's feminine gender. I think they were careful about pronouns
yeah,
and stuff like that here.
Or well, Ada Limon was.
Yeah. So I don't know who appoints the Poet Laureate of Texas. Presumably it's the.
But having said that, I certainly enjoy Carrie Fountain's work. You Belong to the World much better than the next one.
Donica Kelly. So, which is Donkey Kelly is
G.D. awful.
Yeah, there we go. We don't like cussing here, but yeah.
A lot of the time when I'm writing poetry, if it goes on a long time, I think, oh man, I've really messed up with my poem.
Yeah.
I should chop it up into a few different poems, or just
do that, please.
Scratch it up and start anew, because obviously my mind is not focused enough to write an actual poem. You know, I'm drifting too much. I'm sprawling too much. And here, this goes on to, this is 2 and a little bit of pages. And
now,
really, it doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
They're short lines, but I mean, again, it's not poetry. But it's chopped up in a way so that you may think that it is. It looks like it's in stanzas of 3 lines. 3 lines, 3 lines, 3 lines. And they look about the same.
Yeah.
You'd think that there might be some sort of...
organizing principle.
Yes, but James will go in.
Yes, I will. You know, like, let's look at the syllables. 7, 7. Ooh, now we're on... Oh, no, 9. Well, maybe it's going to be 7, 7, 9. Oh, no, it's 6, 10, 9. And then 6, 9, 7, 7, 6, 7. So we've got variation between 6 and 9. Uh-oh. Now we've got 10, 10, 8. Okay. Oh, well, maybe it's 6 to 10. Oh, no. 5, 8, 6. Then 10, 9, 6. Then 8, 7, 4. And now it gets really... Well, the 4 is just ridiculous, because now we've gone from 4 till 10. 6, 6, 8. 9, 8, 7. 7, 8, 9. 7, 7, 10. So nothing over 10, it looks like. But wait, we're still counting. 9, 7, 7, 8, 5, 7, 9, 6, 8, 9, 11. Oh, we're up to 11 now. 7, 9, 11, 7, 7, 7, 10, 8, 7, 8, 6, 9, 9. So it goes all the way from 4 syllables to 11 syllables per line. Yeah, that just, I don't think syllables were used. Okay, let's look at accents. 3, 4, 3. Well, there's a little symmetry there. Oh, it's 3, 4. Oh, no, it's 4. Okay. Then it's 2, 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 2, 3, 2. Oh, man, that's a problem, eh? Yeah. 4, 4, 4, 4, 3, 2, and then I got tired.
And so
I literally would have fallen asleep there. Now, it's not hard for me to do. I probably ate a meal or something like that, but that's unacceptable.
You might think, okay, well, the 3 lines, maybe it just focuses on one thought or whatever for 3 lines, but no. The first, what looks like a stanza, later still the dry, on to the next one, sound of applause, blah, blah, blah. So it doesn't even, why did this person and decide, okay, well, it's going to be 3 lines here, and then, because it's mid-sentence. It stops, the first stanza ends mid-sentence, and then the second stanza, again, ends mid-sentence. The ocean leaping out of ocean should be enough. So it's ends at ocean, starts at should, the third stanza. So it doesn't, and that's fine. I've seen a lot of poets will organize their stanzas that way if they have a particular form that they're using, and they want it to be clear that, oh, I'm writing a Shakespearean sonnet, so this is how the stanzas are arranged. Even though my lines are jammed into the next stanza, I'm still going to divide it that way. But it doesn't make what Donica Kelly has written, it doesn't make it poetry because she has divided it up that way. This is not lines, poetry.
Or into stanzas. Now, one of the things that's misunderstood by, I was hearing this, I think it was on CBC, man, oh man, or maybe it was an introduction. This guy, not this particular, but a guy learned from William Carlos Williams to write in 3s, so stanzas of 3s. William Carlos Williams didn't invent that. Dante died 1321 and used terza rima. Check it out. It actually has stanzas of 3 lines. Shelley wrote at least one poem using that form, the terza rima. That's 3s. Shelley, that would be more than 200. I think he died almost exactly 200 years ago, maybe 1825. You know, like, check it out. William Carlos Williams didn't invent that. All he did was invent throwing down a bunch of prose and dividing it up into little stanzas or pieces, little clumps of little turdlets of 3 is what I call it. That's more T.E. Holmes' thing. He liked his poem dry and hard, and I'm going, yeah, that looks like his stuff looks like the droppings of elk, or maybe it's really, even smaller, deer.
To somebody who actually writes poetry, when they see something like this, it's laughable.
Well,
you just honestly, you laugh at the person trying to make their prose look like poetry by dividing it up into what looks like a poetic form.
It's like watching a kid. My dad used to get rid of his bank's checks, and I'd fish them out of the garbage, and the stubs. He didn't like that because he didn't want people to be using it for ID or whatever. But I pretend I was a grown-up.
Exactly.
Because I'd get hold of keys that were someone had gotten rid of.
Exactly.
Now, I'm a grown-up because.
Or when I decided to make money. I made money out of birch tree bark.
That's beautiful.
It was great. I guess my parents were, they were stressing out about money, and so I was making money, and I'm like, here, take it to the store, buy some food, whatever, right? And I guess they didn't find it funny. I would have found it funny if my kid did that, but anyway.
It's precious.
Yeah,
oh my heavens.
But that's what it's like. Yeah. When you look at people who have divided their prose up to look like poetry, you realize, wow, they have totally misunderstood what poetry is. They have no clue.
Yeah. And understand they're in positions of authority, right?
Yeah.
So she's, what was she saying? Oh, she's at the University of Iowa, undergrad. No.
Poetry isn't a visual art. Poetry is not a visual art. It is a hearing. It's a sound art.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you haven't figured that out, you're not a poet.
Yeah, go do some, put some of the stuff on a canvas, but make it a little better than this, for Pete's sake. Put some color in or whatever. But don't go around strutting around saying you're a poet. Okay? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to emphasize, Pauline was talking about how the stanzas are run over and jammed. I'm going to look at the lines. Late spring wind sounds an ocean through new leaves. Okay, through new leaves is a prepositional phrase. It's okay to put a little bit of a pause in there. Later the same wind, no. Right there, second line. Later, the same wind sounds a tide. See where the sense divides the line? and the sense has just been split right there between same and wind. Later still, the dry sound of applause. No, that's the third line. Later still, the dry sound of applause. Those are where the sense pauses come, but she's got later still the dry sound of applause. No. Why did she cut it that way? I don't know.
Because
dry.
the
Is
sounds
it?
are
Well, maybe
divided.
she wants to
the
emphasize
dry sound. Yeah, those two, dry and sound, need to be together.
Well, you'd think so.
Yes.
Now, maybe she's emphasizing dry. But you see, on the previous line, later the same, wind sounds a tie. No, it's just the same. Why would you emphasize later the same when, because that's what the cutting there would tend to make you do. This is not working. Sound of applause, leaves chapped, falling, and ending. This is a process. She also has that a few times. This is a process.
Yeah.
Yeah, who cares? You know, that's something that's you'd have in philosophy. Are you agreed? This is a process. That's not poetic. What's a process? Is that right? You know, like processed meat or something like that? This is a process. It's philosophy. It's not poetry. What were you saying?
No, that's fine. You go. Go ahead.
The ocean leaping out of ocean should be enough. Yeah. The wind pushing the water out of. Okay, now we're on a little bit of a wind. The water catching the light should be enough. Okay. I think this on the deck of one boat. Then another. Okay. I think this in the Salish. Okay, in the Stell wagon in the Pacific. The water leaping, looks animal, looks open mouth, looks tooth and rolling. The ocean an animal full of other animals. Full of other animals. An animal full of other animals. It'd be better to break it after animal. Are you hearing that, Donica Kelly? Do you put out second editions? Is your stuff experimental? How many pieces of art, I almost said pieces of something else, pieces of art that are experimental are successful? 99%. How many scientific experiments that are experimental are successful? 1%. And until you poets reverse your experimental success rate, you experimental poets, I am not putting up with your garbage. I don't want to see your failed experiments again and again and again. Same thing applies to experimental art. Please, experimental music, same sort of thing. I don't want to be visited with your failed experiments. Right? So this goes on and on and on. It's garbage. So what has this person learned or earned theoretically? An Annafield Book Award, poetry, Annisfield. Any time left?
6.
2015 Cave Canem Poetry. So that's not Cave Canem. It means buyer beware. No, it's not buyer beware. It is dog beware. See how it's got canine comes from that? Cave means, caveat emptor means watch out, buyer. But what I always say is caveat vendor, which is beware, seller. You better sell me the goods. Yeah, I made that one up. I might not be the first one to ever come up with that, but yeah. The Hurston, is it Hurston or Thurston? Hurston Wright Legacy Award. The Kate Tufts Discovery Award. I don't know if Tufts had to do with the university in the general area of Boston, west of Boston. Fellowships National Endowment for the Arts, a fellowship for the, so she was paid by the National Endowment of the Arts. I wouldn't be surprised if that was public, at least partly funded. And Cave Canem Grad Fellow, so I don't, Cave Canem might be, it should be really Cave Canem, but we'll leave that as is. Grad Fellow, that might be private funded, and that sort of stuff. Anyway, Donica Kelly. I wonder if her name means morning star. Really speak, you know, if you put a C there for instead of the K, you might pronounce it differently, but it means morning star in one of the South Slavic languages. It's actually a nice name. They say Donica, but it might be Donica, like that, Donica. Okay, Joy Harjo, 23rd Poet Laureate of the United States. This junk was collected by, I mean, she's a junk collector, was collected by the 24th Poet Laureate of the United States. I'd like to think there's no public funding going towards either Joy, or went towards Joy Harjo, or who is it? Limon is the name of this woman. Is it Kate
yeah,
Limon?
Ada. So
Ada, yeah.
yeah, this poem by Joy Harjo is Eat. It's called Eat with all capitals.
EAT, yeah. Okay. Which is estimated time of arrival, all screwed up. But
And I actually didn't mind this one.
I actually didn't mind it, and then I look at she's Muskogee, eh? So presumably from Oklahoma originally or something like that. Oh, she's artist in residence, the Bob Dylan Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Bob, I hope you're not funding this because it's okay, but it's not poetry. Yeah, Bob, you've written way better than this, even on your lousy days.
But still, I enjoyed reading this.
I kind of enjoyed it too.
This one wasn't too bad.
Yeah. Anyway, that's I burned out on that second thing I was going to do, and like there's only so much I can do.
Yeah.
Like Pauline keeps telling me, you got to start writing poetry again. And I'm going, I've got to show some of these idiots up. God.
So you have 3 minutes. Did you want to go on to
Well,
the next one?
did I do anything more? Joy Harjo.
Well,
Let's see. Well, see, I was looking at. Let's look at what Kevin Young. Where's Kevin Young from?
Yeah, Snapdragon.
Okay.
That's the name of this poem.
He won a shortlist of a T.S. Eliot Prize. Dude, this is as bad as some of T.S. Eliot's latter-day works.
And this might
but up
just
to 1922, this isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should have turned it down and said, I am not worthy.
It might not be that the authors did put their titles in all caps, because I noticed that
they're all caps.
Yeah. So it might just be Ada Limon's way of writing the titles.
Yeah. But you'll notice this is largely in threes too.
Yes.
Threes, two. This one's in two. Maybe just ran out of a little bit of inspiration.
This one's actually, I think, maybe worse than the other than Danica.
The other three ones. Danica Kelly. Yeah.
In some ways. I mean, at least this one's shorter.
Yeah, that's
really, one plus.
When you're writing poetry, that is a plus. If you've got nothing else to offer, make a short poem. Yeah. Like if you're a lousy poet, do a haiku, please.
But this one, again, it starts out, of late the dead have quit their midnight visits. And
midnight and visits shouldn't be cut.
No, they shouldn't be cut. I don't know why they are. So it's cut, it's 3 lines, they're very short lines, and it's cut at midnight, and the next stanza starts at visits, and then period.
So it's bad enough to cut the line there, but when you're cutting a stanza, that doubles the problem.
And then it ends with a period. Yeah. So it's like, what? Why
not just put visits up there in the first stanza?
It doesn't make any sense that it's
maybe
down there.
Emphasizing midnight or something like that. I don't see where that's that important.
No.
They ask to swing by. Okay, sometime. Really, what you say is they ask to swing by sometime. So I don't know if you'd really cut after swing by. Without ringing first. I don't know. Thank you, no. Think I'll stay here, friends. Really, friends should be there, right?
Yeah.
After, I think I'll stay here, friends. It's sunlight at the start.
You're right.
But friends is over there.
Yeah.
But you can kind of cut it there because there's a comma after here.
Yeah.
At the start of summer, no. At the start of summer, no.
I should point out that as you're reading, you realize, oh wait, they're not even all in threes. So then you're like, well, why in the world did they cut it this way? Because it's not all of the stanzas are organized into lines of threes. This one has 2, and there's one that has 1.
Maybe it's important. A garland of souls. Maybe that's really important.
I don't know.
Is it the garland of souls? Is that supposed to be what a snapdragon is like? Or snapdragons? And
this is even worse. This line of 2